Hi friends, welcome back, and hello if you're new. My name is Jill. It's Wednesday. That means this is another weigh-in update. So I will get to that in a minute, but first I wanted to talk about something that's kind of been on my mind for a couple of weeks. So a few weeks ago I had posted on my community tab a poll, and I was basically just asking what was the biggest obstacle that was keeping you from exercising. So a small amount of you answered, but I still think it's a pretty accurate picture of what most people struggle with. And I found it interesting that 42% of you said it was, or of the people that took the survey said that it was a lack of motivation. And I can absolutely relate to that, like 100%. And maybe it doesn't seem that way now because exercise is a big part of my life right now, but that is, I promise you, a very, very, very new thing for me. Exercise, fitness in general was never a part of my life. Even when I was younger and much, much thinner, exercise was just not something that I ever did or was interested in. And when I would purpose to lose weight in the past, of course, exercise was always a part of my plan, but I just could never motivate myself enough to stick to what I was trying to do. So I absolutely get the lack of motivation. And I just wanted to share some things that have been helpful to me, and maybe it'll help you kind of get out of your rut so that you can start incorporating exercise into your journey. So tip number one is very simple, and it's just adjust your view of what you think exercise should be. And what I mean by that is for years, I felt that exercise had to be something really difficult and really hard. And so if it wasn't something that I did 5 days a week for a minimum of an hour a day, I just felt that basically anything less than that wasn't enough to start seeing changes. And it just wasn't going to be worth it if it was anything less than that. And that was so wrong, because although there's nothing wrong with that if you can do it, I couldn't do that. I couldn't commit to, an hour plus of exercise a day when I had, a bunch of little kids, and I still couldn't even do that now. So obviously it wasn't something that I was going to be able to stick to. So you have to come up with something that's sustainable. That's going to be the biggest thing. If you are not a morning person, then don't purpose to go out for a walk, every morning at 6 a.m. Like, just figure out what is going to be sustainable for you, even if that looks like a lot less than whatever your ideal is. And, my husband always says, and it's so true, that doing less consistently is better than doing more occasionally. And that is so true when it comes to exercise, and really, I guess, a lot of things in life. But definitely adjust your view of what you think exercise should look like. Tip number two is not to be discouraged by your limitations. And if you're anything like me, I'm the type of person, when I set out to do something, if I can't do it pretty close to perfect, immediately I get discouraged and I kind of give up. And that's like the worst possible thing you can do, because of course, if you don't practice something, you're never going to get better and there's no growth. So the same applies with exercise. You may be watching like a YouTube channel and they're walking you through the exercise, and you realize that you basically have to modify every exercise because you simply can't do it. And I know that can be discouraging, and it might make you feel like, you're just not cut out for this, and you're just too far gone and you just can't be helped. But that's the furthest thing from the truth. You need to just realize that you have to start where you are, and that might be not at all where you think you should be starting, but that's what's going to help you stick with it. So I shared this before in my last video, but before I even started Zepbound, I had hired a personal trainer, like an online personal trainer, and she had started me off with body weight exercises 3 days a week. And it's funny because during you have like a Zoom call, and they kind of assess where you're at and what your goals are. And I had said I wanted to work out 5 days a week and I wanted to start strength training. She knew that that was a recipe for disaster, and so she started me off with just 3 days a week, 20 minutes a day, and only body weight exercises, so like no weights involved. And there was a lot of wisdom in that. If I had started off the way I had intended to, I would have absolutely washed out. So just realize that it's okay to start where you are. And maybe you're dealing with an injury, so you have like limited range of motion. Maybe your joints hurt, whatever it is, just start where you are. That might be mobility exercises, that might be even getting like PT to figure out what's going on so that you can get to the point where you can exercise. It's okay, start where you are. Tip number 3 is realizing that motivation is a choice and not a feeling. And maybe you've heard that. I know I had heard that many, many times before, but honestly, it just did not connect with me until this recent weight loss journey.
I'm back.
Okay, buddy. So with me, when I would try to lose weight in the past, I usually had the most motivation. Well, not usually. I only had motivation at the very beginning. And of course, that's because, you're losing that water weight and, things are like moving at the very beginning. So I was usually pretty good at that point. As time went on, if I had hit a stall or if I even gained a pound, anything like that, that's what would cause me to lose that motivation. And then I would inevitably just kind of, throw my hands up in the air and give up. So you could absolutely use that initial excitement to get a good streak going, but eventually that's going to fizzle out. And it's really just going to come down to you making a choice. And you're going to have to make that choice each and every day, the choice of putting yourself and your health first. You'll have to do that daily, and it's a battle because really it's you versus you, and it's so hard to do that consistently every day, but that's what it's going to take. And if you do that every day, your motivation will kind of build on that because you're not going to want to ruin your streak, and you're going to start seeing progress, and that's going to keep you excited to keep going. And that's why finding your why is so important, because there's going to be days where you just don't feel like doing it and you're not going to want to show up for yourself. But if you have like a running list of why it is you're doing this in the first place, it's going to make it easier to take that first step. And chances are, if you've started working out and you're into it like 5 minutes, you're probably going to stick with it and finish. And then you're going to feel so much better at the end when you completed it. So personally, I have a list on my phone where I have like all the reasons why I want to lose weight and get healthy. And some of them are like fun and lighthearted, like, buying new clothes, like cute clothes or whatever. And some of them are a little more serious, like basically not wanting to be a burden to my family as I get older. So just having that list that you can kind of revisit and read from time to time is going to remind you why it is that you're doing the hard work and you're showing up for yourself every single day. Tip number 5 is not underestimating the power of accountability. And I knew this back in April when I started my walking challenge. I knew that I was kind of in a rut and I was on this journey, but I wasn't incorporating exercise, and I wanted to maximize the benefits of the medication. And so I just knew that I wasn't going to be able to do this completely on my own. And so I needed others to kind of come alongside of me and join me so we can encourage and motivate each other. And it absolutely worked. And, a couple of you that joined me on it are still doing the walking today. You guys have still kept up with that, and I love that for you. Motivation is contagious, and having someone that is showing up for themselves consistently and is putting in the hard work to improve themselves is going to rub off on you, and vice versa. And it doesn't even have to be someone that you're physically seeing or walking or working out with every day. It just has to be someone that you can communicate with, that you can text with, someone that's going through the same exact thing as you, someone who can help keep you accountable, and in return you'll keep them accountable. And it really does work because you're not going to want to hold someone accountable to a standard that you yourself aren't keeping. So on days when you're not really feeling up to it, you feel like you have to do it just because you have committed to this other person in a way. So I would say try to find someone, a friend, a sister, or somebody that you can build that relationship with and just kind of keep each other accountable, because it absolutely makes a huge difference. And I just want to thank you for being here and being my accountability partner, because I know it may not seem like it, but I really do get a lot of motivation and encouragement just from you being here and following my journey. When you comment and encourage me, and it's just been invaluable. It really has been. And I really think it's been the reason why I've been able to be so consistent. And I actually did a video on this a couple of months ago where I said, if you feel comfortable starting a channel, like a YouTube channel or any kind of social media account, might be a good idea, because there's nothing like putting it out there for the internet to hold you accountable. There's that little bit of pressure that for me has worked out great. And so again, I just thank you for being here, and consider that an option. If you feel comfortable, consider that an option, just kind of documenting your journey and helping others too along the way. So this is actually a good part to remind you that if you haven't subscribed and you like what you see, please consider doing so, or at the very least hitting the like button, because it helps YouTube know that my videos are helpful and it'll share it to more people. But yeah, those are basically my 5 tips on how to kind of help you get out of that rut and help you start doing things that you know you should be doing, but you just haven't had the motivation to do. I hope you found that helpful. Now for the weight loss portion of the video. Last week, I actually forgot what I was. I don't remember if I was 168 or 167. I can't remember. I weighed myself this morning and I was 166.5. So whatever it is, 1 or 2 pounds, doesn't matter. I'm happy and, I'm continuing my good habits. I'm exercising. I'm actually doing something a little different. I started doing it on Monday. So instead of working out 5 days a week, I'm actually only going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Well, strength training. And I do plan on walking 5 days a week, but on my off days that I'm not strength training, I'm going to focus on doing these special exercises for my diastasis recti, which is a muscle separation, like an abdominal muscle separation. I have just not been able to be consistent with that for years, and I've tried, but I just have not been able to do it. But I'm purposing that this time around, I'm gonna do that. I actually need to get to the point where I need to see how much I can close my gap, how much I can improve like my functional core strength, so that I know if I'm going to need surgery or not. So I need to be consistent with that. It just got so cloudy and chilly all of a sudden, but that's okay. I'm done anyway. I hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that I shared something that resonated with you and might help motivate you. So that is it, guys. I guess I will see you next week for my next weigh-in. Bye.